Hey everyone, and welcome straight into today's explainer. If you're joining us, you're probably someone who loves seeing exactly how complex systems are put together, piece by piece. Well, today, we're looking at the architectural building blocks of a stable democracy. Think of a nation not just as a piece of land, but as this massive, intricate structure. It needs a rock-solid foundation and load-bearing walls to keep from collapsing under its own weight, right? So, what actually holds it up? How does it function? Today, we are going to look at the exact engineering behind that structure. And the magic number for this entire structure was 7. There are exactly 7 key features, 7 distinct pillars, that we are going to unpack today to truly grasp how federalism functions. It's like if you take away one pillar, the whole building starts to lean. Take away 2, it might just fall apart completely. Understanding these 7 concepts is absolutely crucial to understanding the machinery of modern democratic governance. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for the session. First, what is federalism? Second, structure and power division. Third, the supreme rulebook. Fourth, resolving disputes and funding. And finally, unity and diversity. Starting off with Section 1, what is federalism? This is where we lay the foundation. You know, in a federal system, power isn't hoarded, it is shared. We see this playing out perfectly in a democratic country like India. India is vast, it's complex, and it's incredibly diverse. You literally cannot manage a nation of that scale by concentrating all the decision-making power in one single room. No way. It'd be chaos. You have to share it. Federalism is the specific system that allows a massive democracy to distribute that power effectively across different regions and populations. Moving right along to Section 2, structure and power division, the framework. So, our very first pillar is having 2 or more levels of government. A federal system simply cannot exist with just one ruling body. You need a central government, which handles the big issues that affect the entire country, and then state or provincial governments to handle local and regional matters. By having at least these 2 levels, you make sure that local problems get local attention, while things like national security or macroeconomics are handled centrally. But here's the thing, simply having 2 levels of government isn't enough. If they're constantly stepping on each other's toes, nothing gets done. And that brings us to pillar number 2, the division of powers. The Constitution clearly divides powers and responsibilities between the different levels of government. It's a very precise delegation of duties. The central government has its specific list of responsibilities, and the state governments have theirs. There's no guessing game here. Everyone knows exactly what their job is. All right, Section 3, the Supreme Rulebook. This is our blueprint. So, you might be wondering who actually decides who gets what power. Well, here is pillar number 3, a written constitution. Notice the heavy emphasis on the word written. A federal system is fundamentally based on a physical, written document that defines the powers of each government. You can't just have a handshake agreement when it comes to running a country, right? Verbal agreements get forgotten or twisted. By writing it down, the division of power becomes a permanent, undeniable fact. It draws the exact boundaries for every level of government. And that leads us directly to pillar number 4, the supremacy of the Constitution. It is the supreme law of the country. What this means is that no one, literally no one, not the central government, not the state governments, no politician is above this written document. All governments absolutely must follow it. It is the ultimate authority that keeps the entire federal structure from collapsing into a dictatorship or just total chaos. These 2 constitutional features really work in perfect tandem. You have the written constitution, which defines the exact powers, and right beside it, you have supremacy, which ensures those written definitions are actually enforced as the ultimate law. The blueprint isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's the mandatory code by which the entire nation has to be built and maintained. Section 4, resolving disputes and funding. This is the maintenance part of our structure. Let's be real, even with a perfect blueprint and crystal clear rules, humans are involved. So what happens when things go wrong? Think about playing a sport. You have the rules written down, you have the 2 teams, but you still need a referee, right? That is pillar number 5, an independent judiciary. First, a dispute naturally pops up between the different levels of government. Maybe a state thinks the central government is overstepping. Second, the independent judiciary steps in. They read that written constitution, interpret the supreme law, and act as the neutral referee. Finally, the dispute is resolved peacefully. Without this independent referee, the whole system would just freeze up every time there was an argument. Now for pillar number 6, separate sources of revenue. A government has massive functions to perform, building roads, funding schools, maintaining security, but they obviously cannot perform those functions if they don't have the cash to pay for them. More importantly, in a federal system, a state government cannot be truly independent if it has to beg the central government for its allowance every single month. Because of that, each level of government must have its own, guaranteed, separate sources of revenue, like specific taxes they are allowed to collect, so they can actually do their jobs. Which brings us to Section 5, Unity in Diversity. The finished structure. We arrive at pillar number 7, which is really the ultimate goal of federalism. It is a delicate, beautiful balance. 50% of the goal is promoting national unity. We want everyone to feel like they are part of one strong, cohesive country. But the other, equally important 50% is respecting regional diversity and local identities. Federalism doesn't force everyone to be exactly the same. It acknowledges that different regions have completely different cultures, languages, and needs. Federalism holds the whole nation together while actively celebrating those differences. So, let's bring the whole shebang together. Here are your 7 pillars of federalism. Take a moment to really think about how they connect. We start with multiple government levels, which require a clear division of powers. To make that division real, we need a written constitution. And for it to actually stick, we need the supremacy of that constitution. To referee the rules, we have an independent judiciary. To pay for it all, we ensure separate revenue sources. And the final result of this grand design, national unity combined with regional diversity. When we step back and look at it all together, the complexity of a massive nation becomes so much easier to understand. As our source material beautifully points out, understanding these 7 features helps us truly appreciate exactly how power is shared in a democracy. It transforms our view of government from this messy, chaotic argument into a highly structured, carefully balanced system designed to protect citizens and keep the machinery of society running smoothly. I want to leave you with a final thought to take away from today's explainer. How do you see power shared in your local community today? Seriously, I challenge you to step outside, look at your local schools, your roads, your local laws, and try to spot these 7 pillars actively at work in your everyday life. You will be amazed at how visible this architecture becomes once you know what to look for. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating topic. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.